everybody. I'm Dr. Nick. Welcome to the Weekend Review for January 15th, 2017. And last week was a pretty emotional week. It was a week that made me physically ill. But let's talk about the emotionals first because it was kind of tough to watch President Obama give his final speech as president. And, of course, it was a great speech. He touched on many issues, the state of the economy, state of racism, how to be a better person. And I was actually really glad to hear that he's going to keep fighting. And, I kind of figured that he would keep fighting. He's not going to vanish. That's just not his way. And let's switch to the parts that actually made me physically ill. And I got to start with the Senate hearings for Trump's cabinet coming in and watching them kind of fall apart. Some guys are really dead on and really good, and they gave somewhat decent answers, even though I disagreed with their answers. But watching the pieces of for the Secretary of State gave a lot of non-answers. I'm thinking like, look, man, you're supposed to be the Secretary of State, and you're going to represent the U.S. to the rest of the world, and you're giving all these shady half answers. Like, no. And what could be funny is Marco, quote unquote, little Marco Rubio could actually make an appearance again and actually bite Trump in his ass. So that could be really funny. What else made me sick last week? The Senate and Congress pretty much set the stage to appeal or repeal Obamacare. And here's the funny part. There are people out there who still don't understand that the Affordable Care Act and Obamacare are the same thing. And they're the same people who they voted for Trump to repeal Obamacare, even though they're getting their health care through the ACA. And they're going to find out really quickly that they're the same things. And which is even more terrifying is that they've been talking about repealing the ACA for 6 years, and they've tried 50 plus times to do it or whatever. But they still don't have a plan. So, so my suggestion is the second that they repeal it, they start calling it Trump Care. Even though nothing exists, start calling it Trump Care, because that's what it's going to be, literally. And yeah, speaking of Trump, there was that carryover from the week before about the dossier that kind of explained Trump's ties to Russia and Putin and things like that. And I also had that little piece in there on that the Russian KGB or whoever had some hot sex information on Trump, and it was that the Russians could actually use it to blackmail Trump. So yeah, that's not gonna go away for a while because it's sex. And one thing this country loves is sex. Sex and politics. There we go. And to close this week out, yesterday or the day before, we had Congressman John Lewis go on record by saying that Trump is not a legitimate president. I'm so glad he said that, because that can be ammunition for during his whole term, or especially for the next 2 years, where we can actually change Congress and change the Senate. But still, I'm so glad he said that out loud and it's on tape, and it made Trump angry. But I don't really care if he's angry. And with that said, by the end of this week, we will have a brand new president on the 20th. And I always forget his name for some reason. So I could call him President Golden Showers, or President Honeypot. My personal favorite is President Not Legit. So all we can do is watch and wait and see what happens. And on that note, I'm out. You guys have a great week. Stay tuned, and I will talk to you soon. All right. Bye.